Good evening, everybody. This is Tyler Penland of the Northeast Georgia Weather Information. Try to get situated here a little bit. First video update ever as far as the Northeast Georgia Weather Information page is concerned. And hopefully you'll get something useful out of this. But go ahead and start off with the short-term weather real fast. Let's skip on over here. Let's open up yet another tab. Like I don't have enough already. Just go ahead and use the National Weather Service for this. Might as well make them useful for something. This is the Graphicast they give, which is just a graphical forecast put out by the Weather Service, and well, it doesn't want to load. That's okay. We'll just load it over here then. It's a pain in the butt. As you can see, a weak cold front is forecast to move through Georgia. Finally, gets a little bit of rain here. We got the exceptional drought creeping up close to us, which is rather unfortunate. But hopefully, we're going to get a little bit of rain here. 3/4 to 1 inch of rain officially expected right now. Hopefully that comes to pass, and we're not dry slotted again like we've been a few times this year. Hopefully, don't believe that'll happen, but. This is the broken down forecast overnight tonight and into tomorrow. Patchy fog and then a chance of rain starting tomorrow night and lasting, well, through most of the rest of the forecast. And we'll get to why in a minute. Got a system approaching from our west, but at any rate, it's supposed to be rather warm tomorrow. The highs up around 70, well, or today. Highs around 70 depending on when you're watching this, but that's okay. And, then the chance of rain moving in overnight, and hopefully we'll see that inch of rain. It's kind of odd they're calling for an inch with only a 50% chance, but that's okay. We'll get to that later. Alright, now, next thing I want to talk about, which is the medium range, is the next weather system prone to affect our area. I'll have to back this up here a little bit. And, which is the system that's probably to come in over this weekend. And this is just your basic pressure map. This is something like what you'd see on television. As you can see, this is starting off valid right down here, December the 10th, 2012, which is, well, that's this year. And that is next Monday. Today's 3rd, it's next Monday. And you see this low pressure system kind of developing back here. We got a cold front kind of lined up across this area, prog to make its way on down through the southeast. And jump a few frames ahead here as things progress through time. By the way, this is from the 18Z, which is the, I don't know, supper time run, I guess you could say, of the GFS, which is the American weather model. Try to jump ahead in time here to when being a little bit slow. Y'all know Windstream. It's a slow internet provider sometimes. But come on. Coax it on, it'll go faster. Alright, this is the frame I wanted to stop at. As you can see, this is valid 1210. We're still on 1210. This is valid at, let's see, valid 18Z, which is roughly supper time on the 10th of December. You see, there's a great big old low pressure system situated up here around the Mississippi Valley. And we'll be oriented on the southeastern side. If that'll go away, we'll be doing better. Southeastern side of the low pressure system, which is usually the side that's warmest, because you got kind of a flow around the low pressure system that kind of drags up all this warm air and moist air in front of it, which will aid in what right now looks like it may be a bit of a severe weather situation. Don't know exactly how bad. Hopefully not very bad at all. Hopefully this won't even come to pass as far as severe weather is concerned. But just wanted to alert you all to the potential. It's certainly way out in the forecast, and a lot can and will change, but I will keep you updated on this potential system as it. This is kind of what we call a lakes cutter, because if you progress on through the frames here, you'll see it bounces off to the northeast, and eventually winds up in the Great Lakes region. We're not going to wait on it. Anyway, it makes its way on up this direction, and it drags this cold air down. And this zero line right here, you see it says 0 right there. That blue line, there's a little bit more to it than this, but this is generally your average snow line, and which is good if it's supposed to snow. But I don't think we're going to see any winter precipitation out of this system. At best, we might see some wraparound flurries, but even then, I'm not very confident that we'll even see that. It's a little bit early in the year, and the pattern's not quite right. But speaking of the weather pattern, I've got a little thing down here in the way of doing this. I'm using Screenomatic, which is a website free recording. I did this about 30 minutes ago on Hypercam, and the graphics lagged behind the sound, or was the sound lagged behind the graphics, so you were seeing things, but it didn't match up with what I was saying. Here we go. Right, this comes off the lunchtime run of the European model, which is one of the better, in my opinion, weather models. But this is just current conditions. It's not a forecast. This is what's going on out there right now. And the two main features we see are this big low-pressure system located up over the Gulf of Alaska, which is a big player right now. You know, it's very cold up in Alaska. It's negative 50 in some areas in this area, up in this top part of the country. And over us is this great big old high pressure system, kind of a ridge right through here. Of course, it includes this little section right here, but that's beside the point. At any rate, as you notice, it was quite warm today. It's supposed to be quite warm tomorrow, while this ridge kind of persists. But as we start to head into the next 7 to 10 days, we're going to see a total, hopefully, going to see a total pattern realignment. And let's get to that. First off, I do want to talk about some indices and kind of explain them to you. You may see me use them, and that's why I wanted to kind of get there and get kind of layman's terms almost of what these indices are. And start off here with the first one, the major one that a lot of people talk about as far as regards to the weather in the southeast, is the NAO, which is the North Atlantic Oscillation. As you can see, this is the past since August 16th. You see it's been up and down and up and down. And anything below this 0 right here is negative. Anything above it's positive. And anytime you have a negative NAO, let's start off with that. Anytime you have a negative NAO, you have kind of this high pressure system right here. Situated over Greenland. This is kind of, as you can see from the graph there, we're kind of close to neutral, just a little bit positive right now. But we do have a high pressure system sitting here over Greenland. And what this does is, anytime you have a negative NAO and a really strong high pressure system, it kind of helps nudge all this cold air located up here around the poles down south. And it kind of drives it down into the United States. And anytime you have a positive, you have a low pressure system, which kind of lets it, helps it to sit there. And let's get all this erased. And the next up is the PNA, which is a PNA ridge, Pacific North American pattern. Let's think about that last word. PNA. Currently, this is sitting very negative, and it's the same basic principle as the NAO. Anytime you have a negative, it's just located in a different area. Anytime there's a negative PNA, you have a big low pressure system up here. And what that does, it helps keep this cold air up in Canada and parts of the Arctic kind of bottled up in this area. But anytime you get a negative or a positive PNA, you want not hotter. You wind up with a great big old ridge, kind of situated in this area somewhere. And what that does is it does the same thing as the NAO. It helps to really push down these helps to push down that cold air. So what you really want to see is a great big old high pressure system here and a great big old high pressure system here, and it really helps to push down all this cold air into the United States instead of letting it stay bottled up in Canada, which is, you obviously need cold air for snow. So let's get, what was I going to next? Not that. I was not going there. I was going to this page, which is American Wax get over to. This page is run by Alan Huffman. He's a meteorologist, and he keeps this models page going. And it says all the different models, some of the stuff y'all need to worry about, but all the different models. And we're going to choose now from the 12Z GFS because the OZ, the midnight run, is coming in at the moment. So we're just going to go off this and open up the current for conditions, or 12-hour conditions. 12 hours from now will be much different than now. And compare it to later on so I can show you all the changes. We're just skip way ahead. So really make them obvious, not the right one. I knew I was going to do that. That's why I opened that up. I managed to X out of stuff all the time. Northern Hemisphere. Just go straight to here. Alright. Now, currently you see we got this great big old low pressure system and a great big old ridge and a neutral NAO. This is looking 192 hours out, where you see there's been a complete change here over the Pacific. You have a huge high pressure system kind of seated over here where that low pressure system used to be, and this is going to help to kind of drag this cold air down, as you can see, whereas most of the United States was yellow a while ago, and now it's mostly blue. And we have still kind of a neutral NAO going on here, nothing really all that impressive, but having the Pacific in our favor will definitely help. And this is going to be a very long, drawn-out process, as most forecasts are. We're just going to pull up more tabs here, make this a little bit easier to do. And we're going to look on, I'm going to skip on way ahead now towards the end of the run, if it'll do it for me. As you can see, this ridge really becomes entrenched here. As you can see here at this point, we're starting to get a little bit of a build-up of that high-pressure system sitting right up here. As you can see, this cold air really starting to pour down in the United States. And hopefully this is what comes true. It would be nice if this ridge here was located a little bit further over towards the east. It would help kind of get this low pressure, this cold air here versus to our west. But that's something that we'll just kind of have to, it'll hopefully take care of itself in the long range. And as we kind of step down into that pattern. That's one thing I wanted to emphasize. This is not going to be like an overnight pattern change. This is going to take quite some time. How much time have I got left? Not, well, that's not it. Oh well. At any rate, next thing I want to take a look at was the ensemble means, which is the average. Each weather model is made up of quite a few different parts. And this is just takes the mean of all of them. This I'm showing you this because this kind of highlights what the NAO is going to do a little bit better than the operational or the average. As you can see here, this is the average of all the runs. You can see this high pressure system really a lot more pronounced over Greenland, which is hopefully what's going to happen. Hopefully we'll get some snow out of this pattern. And But anyway, so I hope y'all learned a little bit there. I'm going to try to keep this short. Don't want to bore y'all to death. But anyway, hopefully these are the changes that are going to take place. We're going to see that low pressure system here disappear and replace with the high pressure and kind of nudge all that cold air from Canada down into the southeast. So let's see, what have we covered? We've covered short term, we've covered the upcoming weekend system, and we covered the pattern change. That's short, medium, and long range. That's everything I had on my list. So special thanks to Alan Huffman for his graphs and his charts. He does a really good job, and I've been using these for a long time. The Center, the National Weather Service, and for all their graphs here, and of course ScreenOmatic.com. This place come highly recommended from one of my friends in the weather world, Mr. Donovan Clinton. He's go over to Facebook. His name's right down here, and they make it very easy to record what's on your screen and from the microphone. And like I said, I used HyperCam a while ago, and the graphics kind of lagged. So hopefully that didn't happen this run. because my voice is starting to get a little bit old, and I'm starting to get quite tired because it's getting late.